Don't hit that snooze button. It's April 10th, and you are listening to M Live's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I am Ben Raven. He is Kory Woods. Kory, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Ben? How you feeling? What up, though?
I'm all right. Yeah, what's up, man? Before we get into everything, you are pulling double duty again for the relevant. How good does that feel to say? The relevant Detroit Pistons. How's that been going for you, man? I know you've been pulling double duty, Lions off season, going back to Pistons games and stuff here, man. How are you living is the most important question.
Well, first off, everything is a blur right now. I mean, pulling double duty, then going in all lines, then going back to double duty, and sitting there and writing my first in-game story. I'm like, how do I do this again? Oh yeah, and then just by the time I was done, I'm like, okay, I got it. Training wheels are back off. But no, it's hovering this team, with for M Live the past couple of years and seeing 17 wins, then 14 wins, then I go away and they take off. Yep. Then I come back and they're now hitting the playoffs for the first time since 2019. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I'll be there tonight. We'll have to link up. Pistons Knicks tonight. Second to last home game of the regular season. Can't believe that. Yeah. But we do have some Detroit Lions stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah.
No thanks to you guys. Just kidding. I know it's a slow week, but let's get into the habit, our loyal listeners, of sending mailbag questions. Like, seriously, if you have a thought on your mind that you want to ask us, send it. I don't care if it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 9 p.m. Send it. dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. That is where we're going to get our mailbag questions out. Kory and I will be better about tweeting and blue sky on that out in the coming weeks to spread that around. But that's voice memos, text questions, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just tell us your name, drop your question. Try to keep the voice memos to like 30 seconds, but we do have two voice memos we're going to feature today. The mailbag offerings were light. I was slightly joking about my shame, but I understand. It's April 10th. It's like that dead week before, like, holy crap, the draft is in a week and a half, 2 weeks. But it's coming, man. It really is. It snuck up on me yesterday when I was looking at the calendar, just like, oh, man, that draft is coming. We are 2 weeks today from the first round of the NFL draft. The Detroit Lions picked 28th. And I think like we had a great, for those of you who missed it last week, shout out Kory for landing Jordan Reed on the podcast. Go back and listen to that interview, man. What was your main takeaway from the Jordan Reed interview, Kory? Because he gave us more knowledge than I was expecting. Sometimes those are just like surface level interviews. Jordan got comfortable and started giving us like 6th round names to write down, which I just love about him.
For a guy that gave us 20 minutes of his time, it almost felt like an hour worth of content.
Yeah.
It was just a really free-flowing conversation. I feel that for Lions fans that are looking to get their juices going for the upcoming draft and kind of get an idea of what the Lions could be doing and have some surprises up their sleeve, that will be go back and be a great listen for you. Yeah. And again, like I believe I said when we were wrapping up that podcast, he gave me a lot of names that I needed to go ahead and go look at for the later rounds. Like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And then I'll just say the one thing that he did make me feel good about was I didn't sound too crazy about the Malachi Moore to the Lions potential. So I felt a little bit good about that one.
No, absolutely. And I believe you asked about Tyler Booker too. And for some reason, I've seen Booker falling in some mock drafts recently. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I'll say here right now, I think they need to focus on defense. I know they don't draft position. They draft best player available. But I really think like the best player available at 28 this year is going to probably be an interior defensive lineman or an edge rusher. But I'll just say it right here, right now. With the Kevin Zeitler situation, with how Glasgow ended last year, with Mahogany's inexperience, impressive limited experience, but inexperience, man, I would take Tyler Booker without thinking at pick 28. And I know you're almost there too, if not all the way there.
I'm there. It's a draft that is filled with some quality pass rushers, and we've always seen, well, not obviously, we've seen in his time in Detroit that Brad Holmes will work the draft board. He will make some moves to move up and grab a guy. So, I mean, if there's a chance to possibly go get a Tyler Booker, and then move up in the second round and get one of those pass rushers, maybe not a first rounder, but still in the top 60 players. I see that. I see that being not a bad way to work the board.
Yeah, I know it would go against like Brad Holmes's track record of like taking an interior offensive lineman in round one, like even dating back to the Rams days. It just like has not
Yeah.
happened, if not more than once. But another part of that Jordan Reed interview from last week's podcast that really made me feel good was the fact that Brad Holmes's tendencies are hard to track. He is unpredictable, but he's unpredictable in a way that you can kind of get a feel for. You know the kind of guys they're looking for. You know the type of schools that they prefer. I mean, it's big established programs, big ready to go guys most of the time. And man, Tyler Booker, he checks that box. He checks the box of being a need. I mean, what is he, like 6'5", 320, 325, man?
He's a massive human being. I've seen him up close.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about that. Just a wall of a person. So
Yeah. And like
again,
yeah.
they get him. If he's there and they take him, I mean,
Yeah, man.
You can't say it's a bad move.
No, absolutely not. And I think just with Graham having 1 year left on his deal, you know, with Mahogany having 2 games under his belt, they brought back Awashika, they got Moody back, and the one thing that Dan said at owners meetings last week, yeah, that was last week. I'm time tripping. It's that time of year. And listeners of this program know I've been talking about trying Manu out at guard with real reps, not just on the practice squad or scout team. Get Manu in there in the offseason program early in camp. Get him with the second team at guard. See how it looks. You know, I think the Eagles might have showed something there, and I know they're different players, but Becton and Manu, just massive guys with a tackle background. Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell, your tackles next season, and probably the next season, and maybe even the next season after that. Like, I don't know, man. Just try to find a way to get Manu on the field. I mean, if he eventually goes into that Dan Skipper role, great. But like, man, with some of the questions at guard, I'd love to see it. He's big, he's athletic, and he's not experienced enough at the tackle position to make me think it's going to mess up anything in his development. Now, Dan Campbell said it would be hard to get him those snaps, but like they're thinking about it, and the fact that they're thinking about it, they like to try things they're thinking about, man. So yeah, I'll end it with a question for you. How big do you think is the need at interior offensive line? Like, where are you at with that? Because it's one of my top 3 needs, I think.
I think it's a need. I think it's definitely a need because we've seen how uncomfortable Jared Goff can get in the pocket when his natural protection is not there. We've seen that this offense looks a little bit differently when that offensive line looks a little bit differently when guys are injured. So just being able to have his guys in there and have that line fully stacked and healthy, I believe that this is a very much so a need for this team moving forward because I mean, this Super Bowl window that they have right now, it closes if anything happens to Goff, like just like that. So I think protecting him and making sure those backs have a stop line to run behind as well. I think that's a very much so need. It's arguably to me their most important unit of the whole team.
It's everything. And Brad Holmes, I believe it was in his pre-draft or post-season press conference, was like, the line remains everything. Like, the line is what this team is built on. And it has to be. I mean, that is when we talk about this offense being perfectly catered to Jared Goff's strengths, weaknesses, what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do, it starts with that offensive line. Like, for real.
Absolutely.
Like, for Jared Goff to be at his pinpoint, surgical, in control of the game best, he needs protection. And that's not me hating on Goff. He has been a lot better against the blitz and pressure than he gets credit for. It's still not perfect, but when he does make the rare mistake, it's when he's freelancing under pressure on the move. So like, man, if you can just continue to make the whole thing about the offensive line with number 16 in mind, like that's how this Super Bowl window remains wide open as it is now, but also open for the next 2, 3, 4 years as best as possible. And that's the goal, sustained winning. Perfect segue into the quarterback conversation. I know we got a mailbag question about that too, but I don't think we talked about it too much. What's your take on the Kyle Allen, Hendon Hooker kind of, they're calling it straight up a competition for QB2. Are you buying that smoke? Where's your head at on that one?
I'm buying into it because for me, it was a red flag, or maybe I'll say, no, I won't say a red flag. Let's say an eyebrow raise. An eyebrow raise came for me when you've had Hendon Hooker this whole all last season. And then when things get a little bit thick towards the end, you bring back Teddy Bridgewater to be QB2 just in case anything happens. And, granted, Teddy is a savvy veteran, has a relationship with the team, familiar with the team in the offense, and played meaningful snaps. But you took Hendon Hooker with a very high pick, and to take him with that high of a pick, and you still don't trust him enough to at least it appeared by bringing Bridgewater back, you didn't appear to trust him enough to be able to take meaningful snaps in the event that something happened to Jared Goff. I thought that was an eyebrow raiser. Now, with the signing of Allen, that to me was the red flag. Like, okay, there is something at least in my opinion, there's something going on where they're not fully trustworthy to give that QB2 role to Hendon Hooker outright, and they want to see more from him. So I think bringing him in was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm somewhere like in the middle on this whole thing. Like, I completely understand and have defended the Teddy Bridgewater move, but I'm with you because like Hendon had been QB2 through training camp, through the preseason, through the regular season, and like this is an older third round pick. Like, you know what I mean? And there's only 2 years left on his rookie deal. There's not a window for him to be anything more than a QB2 here. And the fact that after a full year of doing it, I think it got brushed under the rug too much. Like, oh, it's no big deal. It's Teddy. Who cares? Like, that was a third round pick. For a defense that was starting guys off of other teams' practice squads, that's where I'm like, you know what? I'm not. It's hard to call I don't even want to say the bust word because he was a third round pick who was injured and stuff like that. And it's been a weird road to him coming from an offense that's going to take some time to translate to the NFL. As we know, the quick thinking vertical Tennessee offense, there's some NFL traits in there just with the arm talent that he had to do to perform that. But like, that is not how Ben Johnson's offense operated. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of viewing it as, all right, Hendon is the QB2, but he cannot be the same person that he was last year. He cannot be the same person at training camp last year. Like, I think he's QB2. I think the Lions know he's QB2, but I think this is them saying, this ain't a free pass. Like, the time, like with Broderick Martin, like, dude, if you're going to be something here and actually on this roster, like, the time is now. Like, this is a Super Bowl window team. Like, I get lost in the Teddy Bridgewater, Hendon Hooker stuff too, but like, I get it with Teddy. It's like, that's a guy they trust. That's a veteran they trust. It was surprising to see Teddy as the QB2 and Hendon QB3 for the playoff game, just because it's like, holy crap, this guy was literally coaching high school football like 23 days ago.
Right.
So, like, I don't care how many balls you were throwing on the practice field. The fact that you showed up and took QB2 for a divisional round playoff game for a team that's never made the Super Bowl, that was doing everything they could to make the Super Bowl. I mean, that does say something about where Hendon Hooker was at and is at. So I'm somewhere in between. I think it's Hooker's job. I think he would have to like lose it like in ugly fashion for Kyle Allen to take that job. But like, I do think this is the Lions publicly putting some pressure on him. Like, yo, time's now. Like, after this season, you're going to have 1 year left on your rookie deal, and you're about to be 30 years old with Jared Goff entrenched as a franchise quarterback. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I know we have a quarterback related mailbag question. One other player I did want to mention, another former third round pick, Broderick Martin, man. What the hell is the path for Broderick Martin to even get on the field here, man?
I don't know. I mean, I was just reading some things about, Brad Holmes kind of holding his feet to the fire moving forward in this upcoming season. And, me and you both have had our questions like, hey, when are we going to really see this guy play some meaningful snaps in a Lions uniform? And I don't know what his pathway is. I mean, we saw last year he came into training camp looking really good, lost a lot of weight, looked more fit than before, but then it was poof.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and here's what Brad said last week was just like, he's got to be consistent. We've been transparent. We have talked with him. We know he's a developmental guy, but like, we need more. They need more. I mean, seriously, they need more. And like, I'm looking at that depth chart and it's like, holy crap. Roy Lopez, DJ Reader, McNeil and Wingo will eventually be back. Pat O'Connor's back. They're going to, I mean, Brad straight up said they want to play Josh Pascal and Levi, obviously, more inside more this upcoming year. I mean, that gets lost in the equation a lot. I mean, Pascal was like a pure edge last season based on the injuries, and Levi was playing a crap ton of big defensive end after all the injuries too. So like, man, it's getting tight even with McNeil and Wingo injured. So like, I mean, with the Hooker talk, I think it always feels weird saying that. With the Hendon Hooker talk from Brad Holmes, like I think that is like a, yo, we're trying to put some pressure on this kid. Where I think the Broderick Martin comments are like, I don't know, like it's like
yeah, from those comments, and I'm just spitballing here. It kind of comes off like, hey, training camp is going to be the deciding factor of what we're going to do with you moving forward. You know, it's a possibility he may not make that final roster if he does not have the showing that he does, because I mean that move, the decision to bring in Kyle Allen, you know, a lot of the kind of moves they're doing with their own personnel just inside the building, it feels like they know not necessarily that Super Bowl window is closing, but it feels like a sense of urgency on guys like, hey, we invested in you. We need to see something now because we know we gotta get after it.
Yeah, I mean, it is the idea of like, yeah, we love to draft, develop, and retain, but like we will replace you if you don't deliver. Like, you are firmly in the Super Bowl window. Like they're in it. Like there's no. I love the developmental dart throw picks, like the Martins and the Manus and like trying the Vakis and trying to just find a diamond in the rough like that. But like the focus this year needs to be on, let's find guys where if we do lose a starter, there's going to be a replacement in-house that we know to replace them. That's enough on that.
Yeah.
We've got 2 mailbag questions. We've got a mailbag question from England.
Yes.
We get 2 voice memos and one's international. Shame on you, Michiganders. No. These questions were sent to the dungeonofdoom@mlive.com email. Like that's all one word. dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. That is where you send your text questions. That is when you send your voice memo questions for us to play on the air. Like I said, try to keep them 30 seconds. We're not going to disqualify you if you go 50 seconds like one of ours did today here, but like that's where you need to go to submit questions. Like Kory and I are going to be better about tweeting and blue skying that out and putting that in our stories and stuff to spread it. But like that's we need y'all there. dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. Let's get into I believe Matthew Burke from England.
Hi guys, Matt from England here. I'm just got a question or thoughts about the 2 recent draft classes from the Lions, in particular the 2021 draft class and where it ranks compared to, I know people mentioned the 2017 Saints draft class, which is really incredible. We look at the players they got there, and I just wonder where you think it stacks up from the contribution from the players we got from that draft. Just want your thoughts on where do you think it ranks in the last decade of draft classes. Thank you.
Thank you to Matthew Burke from England. Where does it rank among recent draft classes? The 2021 draft by Brad Holmes with Dan Campbell, first off season. They have now given 5 players in this class second contracts. Like Jamar Jefferson is still floating around as a free agent. He spent the last 4 years in the practice squad. Melifon was now with the Miami Dolphins, but everyone else is either a freaking superstar with a giant contract, recently extended, or looking at a starting role next season. Pick 7, Penei Sewell. We know that man. Levi Onwuzurike didn't look like it was going to hit for a minute. Now he's back, man, and going to be an integral part of that defensive line. Aleem McNeil. Then it was Melifonwu. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, that one's kind of worked out, man. That one is kind of worked out.
Just a little bit.
One of the freaking best 4-year starts to a career by any receiver. And then you got Derek Barnes, who, once again, that was a rough start to his career, but just got a 3-year, $25 million deal. The Lions my God, like you have to consider this no lower than a top 3 draft class of the last decade, because this took a team
Yeah.
that was in the depths of hell. And I'm talking when Matthew Stafford was on that roster, they were in the depths of hell coming out of the Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn regime. And then they traded Matthew Stafford, and it was like, holy crap, they're about to like suck for 4 years. But then this draft class happened, and they showed life. And then they got better in 2022. And we know what the last 2 seasons have been. I mean, I don't have every other team's draft class in front of me, man, but like when you give me a draft class of 7 players and 5 of those players got second contracts and you're fresh off back-to-back division titles after looking like you were about to be the Cleveland Browns for the next decade, still, that was his first draft class, man. Like, gosh.
Yeah, 5 of those players got second contracts, and if you just want to just say 6 of them played important pieces in the Lions in the Lions went on both sides of the ball over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
At some point, I mean, if you want to go a step further, I mean, Jefferson, he hasn't played many snaps, but he's just been a quality guy that they can rely on when needed. So this draft class by Brad Holmes, I don't know where to rank it, but like you said, it's got to be considered for the fact that the five that got the second contracts are big pieces of this team.
Yeah.
It's got to rank among the top.
Like in the last
Easily.
decade, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, Mike, I mean, honestly, like historically wise, just what this draft class has meant to this franchise and what it's done. I mean, it's wild to me that this was the first draft class under them. I look back on this still feels like yesterday to me, man. I mean, Sewell, giant contract extension. McNeil, giant contract extension. St. Brown, giant contract extension. Barnes didn't get no cheap deal either. And while Levi did not get as much as we wanted, the fact that this man is like, 2 years removed from a spinal fusion surgery and now being looked at as a potential starter, and if he has a year like he had last year, there ain't going to be no 1 year, $5.5 million deals for that man. So yeah. I just think, what was the draft class he said in his question from 2017? The team? I couldn't hear that exactly.
He said the Saints.
The Saints 2017. Let's look at that real quick. That's what I thought he said.
And just while you're looking up that, just even looking at we know Aleem. Yeah. I take that back. We know Panay and Amon-Ra are all pros, but if you just throw Aleem in there, 3 of those guys are all pro level talent.
Yeah. Oh God, dude. I mean, Sewell is a generational Hall of Fame talent.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown has back-to-back first-team All-Pros, man. Like, if you get another first-team All-Pro, like, you're on a Hall of Fame track yourself, too. And I don't like to talk like that early about these guys, but, like, St. Brown and Sewell are literally on Hall of Fame tracks. Like, yeah. McNeil got himself $97 million. Like, he's on a Pro Bowl second-team All-Pro track if he continues.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that's a heck of a draft.
My favorite part about this 2017 Saints draft class is that 2 players are now on the Lions roster: Alex Anzalone and Al-Quadin Muhammad. That's amazing. I forgot Muhammad was part of that draft class. That's right.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that was Lattimore, Marcus Williams, Kamara, Anzalone, Trey Hendrickson, and the big offensive tackle.
That is a heck of a class.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about that. I mean, geez. Yeah, I mean, that was a team that went 11-5. The next year they went 13-3 and lost in the conference title game. I don't want to shock people. I'm going to put the Lions draft class ahead of the 2017 Saints draft class just because of where the Lions came from, where they are now, what those players meant to that. And just, this wasn't just adding great players to an already good team. This was adding pillars to a pillarless team. So, yeah, man, great question. Great question for me, Cost the Pond. We'll get
funny
into
thing, real quick. Funny thing about that one is you said 2 of those guys from that class are on the Lions. I think Lions fans still want another guy from that class on the team as well.
All right, we will talk about Trey Hendrickson real quick. Good job, Kory. Yeah, man. When I was getting onto my plane leaving West Palm Beach last week, and I was reading the Bengals. I think it was they're like Rod Wood or someone like that, like the person that does that role for them, commenting about Trey and stuff like that. And then, man, his response was just like, The communication's been terrible. Like, I'm happy for T and Jamar, but like, what the hell? Like, he's 17 and a half sacks in back-to-back years, and like, this is just the classic Bengals thing. You and I are old enough. The Bengals have been doing this our whole entire lives. They either sign a stud, draft a stud, and then just drive it into the freaking ground and ruin things. Now, like, you can't pay two receivers nearly $300 million and then let your best defensive player go. You can't. You can't do that.
I saw that. I saw that, and I'm like, how does he start the season with them?
I know. And I really don't want to get our worlds trapped in another, ooh, what about this guy? What about this guy? But like, man, if Trey Hendrickson forces the Bengals' hands and like he's pissed off and saying, I mean, this is the only reason we talked about Garrett for as long as we did. Like, if he holds out and says, I ain't playing for you, I'll eat the fines. That's how trades become more realistic, because they're like, oh, crap, we got to get something out of this. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'll just say this. I don't know how the hell the Lions would afford that, but like, I don't know. If you had to restructure some deals or move some pieces around, I mean, there's not many players that would be worth it, but he would be worth it just based on fit, what he would bring to you, how he would pair with Hutchinson. Continue to dream, Lions fans. I don't think it's going to happen. I'll give you like
me neither.
3.5% chance of it happening, if not lower, but like, dream away. It's the Bengals. Who knows? Maybe they're dumb.
A Dumb and Dumber chance.
All right. Great question from Matthew Burke. Sorry. Great question from Matthew Burke. We got a second question here that I'm going to play.
Hey, Dungeon of Doom. Matt Bowman here, longtime Lions fan, back to the days of Freddie Scott, Gary Danielson, and Eric Hipple. Here's my question. Last year was a worst-case scenario on the defensive side of the ball with all the injuries. This cannot happen again, but what if the worst-case scenario happens this season on offense? What if Jared Goff pulls a Rodgers and tears his Achilles in week 1? Now what? 1, do we trust Hendon Hooker or whoever the competition is in training camp for QB2 to take over and lead the Lions? 2, should the Lions look at signing or drafting a better QB2 now before training camp, but then who's even available to sign? Or number 3, do we need to swallow our Lions pride and sprinkle some holy water on Aaron Rodgers and sign him out of his dark retreat, assuming nobody else has signed him yet? Thanks. Love the podcast.
All right. I like that. Hell no to Aaron Rodgers. I'll just get that out of the way. I'll just say this right now. If the Lions lose Jared Goff in the first couple of minutes, man, this is where y'all are at April 10th. Y'all are in dark places. About this. Yeah. Welcome to the lottery. Gosh, yeah. I mean, I think that fear is the exact reason why Kyle Allen is brought in. Like, in my mind, it would be like, this isn't going to go well anyway, so let's see what Hendon's got for 16 games and then figure out if this is going to be real or cut ties with that. There is no answer to that question, because if Goff goes down, the operation goes down. And I just think that's what's got lost on the national scene. Yeah, Jared Goff isn't Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he's not Justin Herbert. He's not one of these dual threat game breakers, but like, he is the heartbeat of this offense. He is the captain of the ship. I'm not calling him a game manager either by any means. He is not a game manager. He is just the perfect person for these pieces in this offense. And if Goff goes down, you better sprinkle some holy water on yourself, because it's going to be a long season.
Yeah, for one, I think that Aaron Rodgers, would retire before he accepts being a backup somewhere. There's just that, and two, just I know he's gone to other teams, but the thought of Aaron Rodgers in a Lions uniform will probably make this whole city's skin crawl. so just no to that one. But I understand the thought process. So thank you for adding for the question. But yeah, if Goff goes down, just pull the plug on it. You're punting the season until next year and trying to get a high pick. It's a wrap. You're not trading anybody. You're trying to keep the window open. I thought there were a couple of guys that some fans got crazy at me for thinking about signing, like, hey, get Jameis Winston in here. He has a they know the guy. But yeah. It's aside from that, And I'm not saying Jameis would have been able to do anything either. I'm just saying, just aside from getting a quality level of backup, it's a wrap if Goff goes down. It's just that simple.
If Goff goes down, the best case scenario is fighting for your life at 8-9 or 9-8 to get in the wild card. Because I do think that there are aspects of this roster, like they wouldn't be a joke, like they would not be a laughing stock.
No.
I'm with you though. Like this would not be the Lions of these last 2.5 years. Like if Goff went down, no joke. They do have the type of running game. St. Brown is like the perfect type of receiver for a backup quarterback to come in and be like, all right, bro, you're getting the ball every other snap. But like, yeah, man, if Goff goes down, the offense just loses its identity. It just loses a lot of things it can do. And like, if that did happen, like I would just roll with Hooker and just see what happens and see what he is and see how he grows in that role. I mean, he's an older backup. You spent a 3rd-round pick on him. I wouldn't trade for anybody. I wouldn't do anything. I would just say, you know what, man, the offense, kind of like figure this out. Like let's run the ball. Like Gibbs and Montgomery, guess what? You're both getting 20 touches a game. Like that would be the only path forward to success in that nightmare situation. But man, I get the question, but I was like, holy crap, that's where y'all's heads are at 2 weeks before the draft. I get it. Just
yeah, but again, that's what we were talking about earlier about with a guy like Booker is out there. You pray that they're able. This offensive line is able to stay upright for the entire season. Because you can't have Goff go down for the Super Bowl win. Like you said, you could possibly still roll into the playoffs in a type of a wild card situation, but this team does not have just making the playoff aspirations. They're in a Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's where we'll end it on. Nice job. Slow week, only a couple of questions, but I feel like we did our job here today, Kory.
Yeah, we turned lemons into lemonade.
All right, guys. Dungeon of Doom at mlife.com. Copy, paste it, save it, bookmark it, whatever you got to do. Add it to your contacts 24/7, 365. Send us your text questions. Send us your voice and memos. 30 seconds is the recommendation. I believe we had one a little longer than that today. We'll still play it. Give us your name. Give us your question. Where are you from? Anything like that. Reach out to us, though. We'll be better about putting that in posts. We'll be better about sharing that on socials and just getting the word out more. But yeah, Dungeon of Doom at mlive.com. For all mailbag questions. And like, we won't even be doing a mailbag question. If you send a question in and would like it, we'll read it on an episode. Like, it's that time of year, baby. If you guys want to be on the show, send it in. We'll use you. But we are your MLive Dungeon of Doom podcast. I am Ben Raven. He is Kory Woods. I'll see you at the Pistons game tonight, Kory.
I'll see you later.